In an effort to strengthen security, the foreign ministers of Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger have endorsed plans to create a confederation of the 3 West African countries. The 3 countries currently ruled by their militaries announced their decision in a joint statement following a 2-day meeting in Mali's capital, Bamako, focusing on plans to develop the new Alliance of Sahel States, AES. The foreign minister spoke of the great potential for peace, stability, diplomatic strength, and economic development that a strengthened political alliance offers. The states were previously members of the Paris-backed G5 Sahel Agreement, along with Chad and Mauritania. The G5 Accord has since fallen apart following a series of military coups in the region. Joining us in the studio to discuss this latest development is public affairs analyst Chuks Nwoko. Chuks, it's good to see you.
Thank you for having me. Good morning. Good morning.
Right. Now, looking at this confederation, is that really what these 3 countries need? Pulling out of the G5 Sahel and trying to form a confederation, so to speak. How do you visualize this?
Look, they are human beings, they are nations. They have right to form whatever alliance that they want to form. I actually salute their courage. I adore my cap for them. I think that you people also need to be applauded for this platform, because such topics, will help our leaders if they have the humility to listen to views and gather them and collect them as data or whatever. I respect those men. I said here on this very season, in this studio, that leadership is about courage. It's about courage. And our military men, whether they're in Nigeria or they participated in ECOWAS, whether they're in Egypt or in Ghana, in Sahel, they have always demonstrated courage when they need, when the times demands for it, politically and otherwise. So I respect them. I'm delighted, not just about the rightness of what they have done, but having the courage to say, look. And by the way, 3-cord rope, you can hardly break it.
It cannot be easily broken.
It cannot be easily broken. So, because they share the same affinity, they came together to do this. And I think that for them, and I'm also delighted that they have a goal, and the goal is to deal with the issue of the Sahel, insecurity, which has affected us immensely in Nigeria. So they've not been able to properly tackle it, but having agreed to form this alliance, and I hope that it will work, in achieving the goals that they have set. Economic progress of the 3 nations is very important. Now, why do I say all of that? Because the black man and his mentality is still looking up to European Union and looking up to the West to tell us what to do. So this is a break from what has been annoying me for about a decade about our attitude with the West. We have been on this journey of new colonialism, and these guys are saying no. So if they can come together as a confederation, I am praying that it works, that this their agenda, this their goal and dream comes to fruition, that it will consolidate. I see other nations joining them. I see other nations joining them, because this Sahel that has been left porous for a long time, and we've been on this issue of the Sahel, if they can deal with the issue of insecurity alone, the other things will have political stability and all that.
You also said in your remarks so far that you hope it works, and that is the speculation that is also rife.
Yeah.
The G5, aided, funded by the French government, didn't do so much, especially in tackling the common enemy.
Yes.
So what's the assurance that these 3 nations coming together to form a federation will be able to tackle, and the threats are growing even at home and in the Sahel?
If you remember, they moved, they're not just 3 nations now, they're looking up to China, and they moved their attention from the West, from France to Russia and to China. So alliances, don't forget that China has, in the long past now, form, alliances there and all that within their own region. So this is not something that is big. I think that ECOWAS has not lived up to its billing. So if these three nations can show example, like I said, I pray. Because I wasn't in the meeting, I don't know how consolidated they are and all that. So it's the prayer of everyone who like me, is delighted at what they have done, to believe that it will work. But don't forget that they're also going to, talk to other nations like Russia,
because and
China,
that
to support them.
Going to be my next question, because there's been conversations around the Wagner Group. We saw they are showing in Niger, so to speak. Right. Yes, and so there has been conversations that by the West that the Wagner Group, Russia, are the ones that are influencing these decisions by these three countries to say that they want to pull out of the G5 group and form this alliance. They are not even still doing this on their own. They are still going to have some level of alliance.
Exactly. And it's not a closed-door alliance anyway. So I believe that it will work. I trust that it will work. I pray that it will work. Other nations, when they find that organization a viable place to go to. Because what's going on in ECOWAS? The last time there was a coup in Niger, there was all kinds of threats and all that. It didn't come to pass. You don't become a toothless bulldog in the presence of nations that are trying to salvage what they have from the West. And these are nations, the ECOWAS nations, that are still running after these people for crumbs from their tables. So we should encourage them. I am delighted, and I pray that insecurity is tackled in that region. And once it happens, Nigeria can have peace. We have not had peace for a very long time. Because that porous Sahel is where the action is. Right. People are even traveling on that route to Libya and to the Mediterranean and dying. So that insecurity will cover all of those things. And I believe they will be able to, form a very economic base in that place. And that's what is important. And there will be political stability. This idea of running to France and running to Britain and running to wherever it is.
They're still running somewhere. They're still going to run to Russia.
But it will be a change of destination. There will be a change of destination. There will be a different mentality. Russia will help develop the infrastructure and develop the resources of the place. And
how are you so sure that it will be a departure from what?
Oh, it has to be, because the Russian state knows better. The Russian state knows better that they need also the people in Africa to develop their economy for their own benefit. Having learned what happened to the West and what has happened between the West and the African nations, we have been kept down. And you think Russia is happy? Putin is happy about it? Putin has single-handedly, rightly or wrongly, stood against these people.
So it's more about how these countries can negotiate their own stance with this country.
Well, that's what they are doing. They are at the bottom of this.
You think this fresh alliance that they are pursuing is on their terms? Will be on their terms?
It has to be, because you see, they have a common affinity. They are military guys. Do you understand? These three nations, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, they are young men, Nigerians who are Africans who are in uniform, who have come to power, and they are putting pressure on them to return to this thing that I don't understand. And I don't have a problem.
What don't you understand? Democracy?
I understand democracy. Okay. But you see, the way it's practiced in Africa is the major problem. Like we have here, what is the problem with our democracy? Democracy is a good system of government. What is the problem? Every table that you have seen around, your own table is a very unique table. Every table that you find around your house has four legs.
Right.
Every chair you have in your house, regular chairs, they have 4 legs. Democracy has 4 legs. Political party politics, INEC, the judiciary, and the electorate. Political party politics have destroyed the democracy in Africa. And you are selling form for 100 million naira. And you are telling me the other time I came here that you're looking for money. Where is all the money that all those people paid to buy form? We don't have Africa anymore because of democracy. Because of the kind of democracy that we are practicing. In other climes, citizens contribute money to support candidates. And you see what is happening with the Republicans. People are dropping off the campaign because they have no funds. So these guys are trying to show us, then you are trying to stampede them because you're going to give us money or you will punish us if we don't return to democracy. We have been here before they came here. We have been in this continent with this before these guys.
Is the military any better?
Look, they are courageous enough. I give you an example. We practice the siege geopolitical zone in Nigeria, which has worked so far since 1999 or thereabout. Do you understand? Who created it? I even heard somebody told me that it was the politicians, the civilians that created it. Who implemented it? It was Abacha. And it has worked so far. What has these politicians brought to the table? They are signing bills and collecting money from European Union and doing all this serpentine business that they think that God will not expose. Look, let's encourage our African brothers. If they do well, they will become a new model. Nothing is static. Nothing is static. Let's encourage them when they are ready to hand over, if they want to hand over to democracy. But what I'm saying is that these guys, these white people with this white mentality that come here because they understand the black mass mentality, that we must buy into everything that they bring here. They're talking about climate change, we must buy into it. By the way, they brought Christianity, they brought education, they changed the way we dress, they changed the way we speak, they changed the way we look, and all of that. Thank God we bought into all those things. But there's an end to everything. It's not everything. Look at our streets. They turn our children into another thing. Our style of living has completely been eroded. And you're criticizing these guys. Why? What is wrong with us? Living by... We lived here in your empire. We lived here in Lagos colony. We lived in Sokoto. We lived in Adamawa, Economic Empire, Benin Kingdom, Warri. Before these guys infiltrated our society. With this, they assumed whatever. I mean, they've done well. The Yoruba man has done well for him. He created the television, phone,
it's good you are balancing.
But it is not everything that we must buy from them. The climate change stories about money. It's all a lie. Climate change has been here since the days of Noah. If you go and read Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe, have you ever read that book? Okonkwo had a problem with climate change. The seedling, 400 seedlings of yam that he was given, he went to go and plant it after the first rainfall. For months, rain didn't fall. His father couldn't give him. It was people that supported him.
Perhaps the gods were angry.
So, maybe the gods were angry. The gods have stopped being angry. They are there, showing us mercy and whatever. But you see, people can watch this program because of the white man's ability to create. They have offended God, and God has turned his back on them. Now they are telling us that two of you can be married, and our people want to support. It has never happened before. It will not happen again. You people should allow these people in Burkina Faso, in Niger, and Burkina Faso and Mali to do what they want to do. They love their countries. They are citizens of that country. They're not from a space.
So where do you see this all going, especially with the Sahel? Would you, be confident that the Sahel is all but gone now? It has become, the G5.
Safe.
The G5 is all but gone now. There are two countries left. Where do you see this all going, even beyond G5? Looking at the AU, for
example. If they do well, if they deal with the issue of security, for instance, which is very, very key, and they're able to build an economic base and improve the lives of the people, other nations, even from the ECOWAS, will join them. The G5 might just come back. The other two nations can join them. Do you understand? Because if you check their borders, they are closely knitted. So it might just be that we do not agree for now. That we do not agree for now does not mean we will not agree tomorrow. What is important is that Africa is our own. It's our mentality that we need to change. These guys have shown example how you can say no. And this is a warning to that man, that FCT minister, this former Governor Wike. If he thinks everybody's afraid of him, I'm a small person. Let him come and kill me. This democracy, we fought for it. He should stop making all this noise that he's making in River State and mind his business. If he cannot respect his wife, he should respect the rest of us.
Right. The issue is not about him right now.
Yeah, but I'm using the opportunity to talk to him.
But it's not related.
It's not related to this.
It's not related. Let me tell you how it's related.
Okay.
Let me show you how it's related.
Right.
Do you know the issue you have and what we're discussing? Because these guys are military juntas. If you read the report of their meeting, they were described as military juntas. We have military men who love our country.
Absolutely.
Let me leave it there. Okay. If you don't get it.
Let's leave it.
When you come and be destroying our democracy that we are managing here, you think that you're really Nigerian that love this country.
Let us leave it at that, like you have said, and go back to the issue. And my concern is about the interest of the people. Because you mentioned earlier about democracy being built on four legs.
Yes.
And the people are involved.
Yeah.
How is the interest of the people, being, brought into the fore with regards to this issue now that we are seeing, the alliance now? Because we have not really seen as much development with the people, moving them forward from what they have known over the years, even across these countries. Is the interest of the people really going to be covered here?
Absolutely. Absolutely. They love their country. They've sat back for too long and seen politicians don't care, steal their money, because the black man's mentality is basically corruption. Do you understand? So it's about the people. The people come first as far as they are concerned. So if they can tackle the issue of insecurity in the Sahel and in the different countries, look, the killings will come to an end. People are being murdered in Mali. People are being killed in Burkina Faso. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it is all about the people. As far as they are concerned, the people come first. That's why in their agenda and their goal, their goals, the first one is tackling of insecurity, then the economy, and then development. So it is the people that come first. In their minds, it's the people that come first. People are dying in those countries, and they are offended by it. They are offended by it. The French people came there and other people came there to come and help them. It got worse. Maybe you've forgotten what gave rise to this. It got worse. So what's the essence of having in the country, ravaging the country and stealing their resources, and the people are still dying? They can do it themselves. And so far, so good.
But do you see this also as a subtle warning to ECOWAS, because these three countries in question are also united somehow with the coups that have taken place in their respective countries. And of course, you are following the development with ECOWAS saying that if they don't, go back, restore democracy in these countries, they would be forced to also, do some form of military intervention. But then these countries have said any form of foreign interference, of course, doesn't it appear to you like a veiled threat also to Africa, to other countries?
You know that me and you particularly, have dealt with that issue.
This issue, yes.
I was saying that there's a third alternative. Third alternative does not allow you to start threatening anybody, even if it's your child. You probably won't listen to you.
Even in your capacity as a parent. As a bloc.
Yes. So what they were supposed to do, they did last. Engage these guys because they are citizens of those countries. There's something that gave rise to it. We're not used to democracy. Now that we are practicing it, we're not even practicing it the way we should practice. So that threat. Now, I have already said today that who says that one or two countries or more from ECOWAS will not join them if they see them do well? It's about doing well. It's about national interest for these countries. So if they do well and you want to join them, I see the possibility. What ECOWAS has done, which I criticized here that I talked about, was that threat was too early. It was that threat that led into this alliance, if you're not aware. Because they were saying, we too were military juntas. If you go and attack these people, are you going to come and attack us? And you don't do that. AU is in that place. What did they do? These organizations who were small when they were formed, were we even born? We weren't born when they were formed. What have they done for us? What have they done for us? Have they done anything to the man in Cameroon? Have they done anything? Have anybody spoken to the guy in Rwanda? So these are hypocritical attitudes. Things are going wrong in Africa. People are claiming that they are practicing democracy, then you're sitting in one place for donkey years, and you say you are practicing democracy. The man in Rwanda, has anybody ever had the guts to speak to him? That you have overstayed your work.
There are those who would say that he's doing a lot for the country, bringing development into the country.
So they should name the country after him. It should become a republic of the man. Do you understand? So let us support these guys. I'm sure in the nearest future that I think that what gave rise to all these things that we're discussing about is the Rwanda, Cameroonian, and all these guys who are staying put in power. If our own people, including our people here, can just recognize that we are all Nigerians, so that we are all Africans. Let us recognize that you must love this country. And they bring in courage. Our politicians have never demonstrated courage. Now, that's not to hold one person accountable, But it's just a common disease that we suffer. For instance, you say we don't have money. If you don't have money, I was asking the last time I was there, as an individual, when you don't have money, what do? You look for that means now. You're carrying something, you're selling and all that. Sometimes I don't have money myself. I'm managing what I have. I'm looking for that means. I actually teach multiple sources of income myself. Yes. So what are you doing with all our resources? You've been fixing the Port Harcourt warrior.
But you've been saying something about where the government has addressed this matter of refineries.
Yes.
So we are waiting to see what will be done.
We've been waiting.
You've been talking about if this works,
It will work.
What concerns do you have that you think could hinder this from working?
Look, let's be positive. I do not foresee anything. What I see is courage. And a man who is courageous, you can't really stop him. Because first they are under pressure. Maybe they should remove that stuff they are wearing. It has happened here now.
Under pressure from whom?
Oh, from everywhere. This discussion is enough. Making it, the topic alone is even enough pressure. They are pressure from whatever, asking in them to transmit to civilian, to democracy and all that. So it will work. If they have the common sense of coming, three ministers coming together in Bamako to say, this is what we do. More ideas will come. That's creativity. That creativity comes from courage. You're courageous to hold on to power to better the lives of your people.
You also said remove what they're wearing, if they remove what they're wearing.
Let's leave it like that.
No, explain, because some people...
No, but we had a president here, one smart military president, who eventually became a president. Do you understand? So he transmitted from wearing uniform to Agbada and all that.
But what are the lessons for ECOWAS and the AU from all of these moves that we're seeing?
It's the same thing, courage to speak, even if you don't do anything about it. And be very careful what you speak. Then separate yourself from conspiracy of fools. There's something I call conspiracy of fools. I studied from some guy who did a paper, a study on the collapse of Aaron. The lesson is that people should be punished when they do wrong. That is very important. So if you have some guy who is in government and is stealing money, you must pay him. Do you know that Skidden is in jail for 292 months? Calculate is 24 years for wrongdoing. When you betray your people and you're caught as a central bank governor or as a prime minister or as a whatever, and you are not sanctioned and sent to jail, that's the lesson ECOWAS should be pushing. This man you have overstayed, you got to go. Make it public. Let's discuss it. Put pressure on him. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that is what led to these things that these guys have done in their respective countries. The people were suffering, and people are driving limousines and driving out with people's money. Do you understand? They have not shared money here now. People are not discussing that one, and they're signing a bill to legitimize LGBTQ, which is alien to our culture. You people are not saying anything about it. We will say it because the country belongs to us. And it's these guys on top that have collected money.
How do you mean?
How do I mean?
Yes.
Let's come back here and discuss it.
Okay.
Because it is detrimental to the life of our children.
No,
it's an assault on our culture.
Ban these statements and not back them up with facts. You have to defend them.
Okay, I will send you the facts now.
And don't say it's not about me. It's about the audience, the people that are watching. You have to also defend the statement.
I'm on TV so that they can hear what I'm saying. There's something going on in our country where we're being betrayed, where our society is being destroyed, and all that. And I said to you that the politicians who are on Agbada are not the only Nigerians.
And these issues...
That's what has happened in Mali. When people and things are going on, and the people who are also citizens, just because they are in unity, they're also citizens.
All these issues will find their place with the breakfast show. This is one of the issues, and that's why we brought you to discuss.
Okay, when we finish now, recite to me, I will give you the facts.
To discuss this one.
Yes.
So it will really be very...
On the 15th of November, a document was signed by government officials and European Union. I will send it to you.
Right.
All right.
Since you don't know about it.
All right.
For those people in Nassau Rock and in National Assembly, they know what
we didn't know about anything. That is also a misinterpretation.
The issue we brought you here to talk about is about the matter of Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger.
Yes.
So you saying we are not talking about it does not mean that that conversation may not have held.
Absolutely.
So you cannot just assume that we do not have that conversation, or we do not speak to issues that are in the interest of Nigerians.
Nigeria. So what I've said is that Bamako, Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali, that the people that are leading those countries, that they are citizens of those countries. That in our own place here, we have a theory, what I call a theory of conspiracy of fools, that what will make them do that thing is because these people who are in Agbadas and who are politicians, they get careless to a point where other segment of society will say this is not acceptable. And it's for our own good that I'm saying it. That we should learn a lesson. It's not just criticizing those guys there, but what led to them taking over taking over government in that place. That's the key and the lesson that we must learn. We should not sit cozy that everything is okay here. Because we fought hard for this democracy. Don't throw it away.
Absolutely.
Don't throw it away.
And that's
Ask
why,
these guys in Niger what led to them.
And that is why we always have conversations around issues that affect Nigerians to put pressure on government to do what is necessary as at when due. Right. So it's not like we are closing our eyes to those issues.
Okay.
Right, Kemi.
All right. I just wanted to also, confirm what you base your confidence on, because there's the issue of people have also said it's not enough for you to still on the issue of the terrorists, of combating terrorism in the Sahel and even in the national, in their national domain. So what is the assurance that, or where do you stand even in the debates that military is not the only solution? There is also the issue of, social development of the regions, of the people, what the people will be better for. I know you've dipped in and out of that issue, but what about that? Are the people of, Mali, Niger and the likes, are they the better for it with the military now in charge?
I think so. This is the best next alternative for them, because you're not going to go and bring aliens or Americans or French people to come and begin to rule the people. What the problem in Africa is I told you already, I'll keep repeating it, is the black man's mentality, the African man's mentality, corruption. Do you understand? Now, corruption includes when these people come here to sell us an idea and we cannot investigate it, like the climate change theory or issue. Do you understand? That's just an example. So if you take our money that you get from our resources and develop the economy without taking it to France and to America and to United Kingdom.
Is the military immune from corruption?
Sorry?
Is the military there?
No, they are not immune. They are not immune. But you see, now these guys that have fought with French, the French people, are they going to be taking, what is it called? Their resources back to French. Maybe they'll be taking it to France.
Recall,
maybe they'll be taking it to
what happened. There were persons who were
Russia
as being relatives of the president that were.
No, but they are Africans. I told you that the black man's mentality, the African man's.
It's still black. They're still black.
Absolutely. But you see, the advantage they have had is that they are the ones who bring gun to your neck. You don't understand.
That's the language they understand.
That people understand.
Let's take it step by step. When they went to Niger Republic, what did they do? They took the man. Shebi is a president. Why didn't they fight back? Why didn't they fight back? So best behavior is important. Here, best behavior by our politicians is also important. That's what I'm saying. You give people gun and you are misbehaving in their presence. So if an armed robber comes to my house, I should slap him. I will talk with him. I will deploy wisdom. I will deploy prayer. I will deploy third alternative. I will negotiate with him. This country this nation does not belong solely to politicians. The democracy we enjoy today, we fought for it. I was young, but I participated. Look, let's preserve it. Let's do away with this black man mentality. It's not every time you come here, they come and supervise our elections. Then you have our people running around them to get their verdict. Then when they have gone, they bring money. You think they're idiots? They are white people. They believe they are smarter than us. So they give you banana. To catch monkey, you give him banana. So after a while, they bring documents for you to sign. You haven't even read what is in the document because the dollar is so attractive.
They force you to sign it.
When you are seeing dollar like this, they didn't force you. There's nothing as forceful as dollar to our politicians. Because after every election, they are planning for the next election. Lim Kuan Yew didn't tell you that. Is he a science subject? You just carry his book and you read it. Lim Kuan Yew told you that after every election, an average politician start getting ready for the next election. So they know this white man. They believe they are smart. They are not smarter than I am, because me, I will argue with them, I will quarrel with them, and all the other things that I will do that I will not tell you. But they believe that we know these guys, these Africans. They like money. They know us. We need to know them and say to them, "Thank you for what you've done so far. You brought You brought technology, you brought education, but enough of all these things that you're coming here to. Stay in your country. Go to most of their cities, is stinking because they have, those cities have been around for 200 and something. Those cities are stinking. They come here. What are you looking for here? They go to seats of power and all that. I remember one man, the former prime minister from Great Britain, they were always, when Jonathan was president, he always in Aso Rock. I used to ask myself, what is this man they find here? They don't have money. If you want to know what I'm saying, to go to them. How much money do they have? But still, they are able to. Do you know how much the United States indebted to? As I speak to you today, 403 point something trillion dollars. They're indebted to the United Nations. But when it happens anywhere in Ukraine, they're donating money. They pretend, they act like they are rich. But we take our own to them, selling our properties to go and live in that place.
We'll leave the conversation here now.
Let's leave it and we'll come back to it.
Public Affairs Analyst Chuks Nwoko, thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Right.